Tributes continue to pour in for Michelle Trachtenberg. She died yesterday in her apartment in New York. She was only 39.
Her mother reportedly last saw her alive here at her New York City luxury apartment building at 10 p.m. on Tuesday. When her mother returned at 8 the next morning, she found her daughter unresponsive, lying in bed.
Give an unresponsive female, approximately 30 years old. Be advised location as EDC history.
May her work and her huge heart be remembered by those who were lucky enough to experience her fire.
I knew she was going to post something acting like they were friends. Michelle was a real actor who had been acting for a long time, and she couldn't stand the way Blake didn't respect any part of it. Blake Lively knows, she's smart enough to know that if she wrote about Michelle today, she would take attention and make it about her. She didn't even wait a day. She didn't even wait a day, but that's Blake Lively.
Blake Lively is back on social media. And of course, it's with a heartfelt tribute to Michelle Trachtenberg. Now, don't get me wrong, Michelle's passing is truly heartbreaking, and the loss of such a talented actress is being felt by many.
Film is a bit darker in nature. How was it getting in touch with your darker sides?
I got to see the real me. I'm just a dark, horrible person, and I just got to let my flag fly. So there you go. This is the real me. A girl boss. Yeah, we need more female. I think we have a lot of female bosses, and women's voices are being heard.
But Blake's sudden return to Instagram with a lengthy, poetic, and perfectly curated message, it's giving damage control. Let's be real. Blake's been in hot water lately. Between the It Ends With Us drama and whispers that she and Ryan Reynolds were straight up avoided at SNL's 50th anniversary, her public image is looking, well, not quite as polished as her Met Gala gowns. So, is this tribute a genuine expression of grief? Or is Blake using Michelle's tragic passing to remind the world she's a deeply sensitive and good person? You already know which way the speculation is leaning. Just look at her wording, the caramel lip gloss detail, the poetic, blindside you on an Idle Tuesday line. It's giving scriptwriter almost like she sat down and thought, how can I sound the most profound and thoughtful here? And then she slides in that little nod to the importance of holding on to old friends. Sweet sentiment? Sure. But also a little ironic considering insiders say Blake and Michelle weren't exactly texting daily. Let's not forget, Blake's been completely MIA from social media for months. No comments on other major Hollywood passings, no takes on anything. But the second an opportunity arises to showcase her empathy, boom, she's back, penning an Instagram story that reads like an Oscar acceptance speech. Grief is complicated, and maybe she truly felt moved to speak out, but the timing makes it hard not to side-eye the convenience of it all, especially when fans are whispering that Blake's PR team is working overtime to course-correct her recent controversies. And if her Michelle Trachtenberg tribute was step 1 in the Great Blake Lively Image Rehab Tour, then this next move is step 2, painting herself as the ultimate victim in the Justin Baldoni drama. Because let's be real, she went nuclear on Baldoni, torpedoed his career, and now that public sympathy is shifting toward him suddenly, she and her entire family are traumatized. Nobody's saying she isn't stressed. Dragging someone through a messy legal battle is exhausting, I'm sure. But this whole struggle to get out of bed narrative? The extreme anxiety and painful physical symptoms? It's a little too on the nose for someone who just made a dramatic return to social media with a poetic, perfectly crafted tribute to her dear friend. How is she out here writing Instagram essays about lip gloss if she can't even leave the house? And then there's the Ryan Reynolds angle. Apparently, he's also suffering. Okay, fair. But let's not forget that Blake and Ryan were just publicly iced out at SNL's 50th. And the whispers about A-list circles turning cold on them are only getting louder. It's all starting to look like a carefully plotted rebrand. One part heartfelt mourning, one part strategic PR move. The latest lawsuit update? Less about genuine suffering and more about Blake trying to reclaim the victim role before people fully side with Boney. Let's be honest. She went in for the sleigh with this legal battle, and now, suddenly, we're supposed to believe she's the one suffering most? Her kids are emotionally uprooted. She barely steps outside. And yet she had the energy to publicly mourn Michelle Trachtenberg in a way that made her look deeply sensitive and good. Sorry, but this isn't reading as real distress. It's giving calculated PR strategy. But now it's Ryan's turn to get dragged, and honey, it is not looking cute. Justin Boney's lawsuit is exposing Reynolds in a way we never saw coming. The man built his whole brand on being the funny, self-aware good guy, the beloved Deadpool actor, devoted husband, and king of social media trolling. But now, He's being accused of aggressively berating Boney during a high-stakes meeting, blowing up on him in front of Sony execs, and leaving everyone in the room absolutely shell-shocked. And let's be clear, this wasn't just a heated argument. Insiders say industry veterans left that confrontation saying they had never seen anything like it. And just when you thought it couldn't get messier, co-stars are coming forward to back up this shady side of Ryan. Remember TJ Miller's resurfaced interview where he called Ryan horrifically mean on the Deadpool 2 set? Yeah, that aged real well. And now there's a wilder theory brewing. Did Blake and Boney catch feelings? Could that be why Ryan was so heavily involved and went nuclear on Boney in front of execs? It's a bold take, but
did Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni catch feelings for each other? Could this be why Ryan Reynolds was so involved and had to berate Justin Baldoni in front of the executive? I know it's a wild theory, but like their chemistry, if you watch the movie, maybe Ryan Reynolds saw something. Maybe he was picking up on something to the point where he was rewriting some of their intimate scenes. Like maybe Blake did catch feelings. Maybe that's why Baldoni's legal team is like, oh, just wait until we release all the text messages. Like maybe Blake did catch feelings. Maybe that's why Baldoni's legal team is like, oh, just wait until we release all the text messages.
But let's not pretend their on-screen chemistry wasn't obvious. Maybe Ryan picked up on something. Maybe that's why he started rewriting some of their more intimate scenes. And now, Boney's legal team is teasing some bombshell text messages that could flip everything on its head. But wait, there's more. Enter Matthew Lawrence, who's suddenly spilling some very specific tea about Ryan's not-so-great behavior back in the day. Apparently, during the filming of Boltneck, Ryan had major creative clashes with the producers. So much so that they had to literally sit him down and tell him, "This isn't a bad Jim Carrey impression, stop trying to make it one." And how did Ryan respond? By throwing a fit and refusing to listen, insisting, "I'm doing my thing." So let's break it down. Boney says Ryan completely lost it on him during a business meeting. TJ Miller says Ryan was straight up mean on set. Matthew Lawrence is out here saying that even decades ago, Reynolds was difficult to work with and ignored direction to do whatever he wanted. That whole nice guy image, circling the drain. And let's not forget the bigger picture. Blake and Ryan went scorched earth on Boney, and now their own reputations are suddenly not looking so untouchable. It's like they played the long game of PR perfection, only for it all to come crashing down at once. And if Boney's team really does have those text messages, oh, this storm is far from over, crumbling. It's almost poetic. The second people stop blindly siding with Blake and Ryan, their Hollywood connections mysteriously start drying up. It's giving karma. And with the pressure piling on, we cannot forget those flirty texts and notes between Blake and Boney that have surfaced, threatening to cause major problems in her marriage with Reynolds. Speaking of problems, one name comes to mind: Ryan Gosling. Because guess what? The truth behind Blake's rumored love story with that Ryan is finally out. Let's rewind to 2010, when Gossip Girl was still the hottest show on TV, and Blake Lively was making the jump from CW queen to Hollywood's new it girl. Around that time, she and Ryan Gosling were very much a thing. And no, it wasn't just casual dating like the PR teams wanted people to believe. They were flirting up a storm all over Los Angeles. They were first spotted at Disneyland, where witnesses said they were acting like a full-on couple, lost in their own little world. If that wasn't enough, they were later glued to each other at the Blue Valentine after-party, where sources claim they even left together. People close to them at the time hinted that it was way more than a fling, saying, "They've been out a few times and are definitely into each other, but I could see it becoming more." So what happened? Why didn't we get the Blake and Gosling era that could have literally changed Hollywood? Enter Eva Mendes. Just as things were heating up between Blake and Gosling, he started filming The Place Beyond the Pines. It's not like Reynolds has ever been shy about taking subtle jabs at his Hollywood peers. Could his alleged insecurity and control issues be the reason why these two stars have never crossed professional paths? With Reynolds' nice guy image crumbling, his behind-the-scenes temper being exposed, and Hollywood insiders whispering about what really goes on in his marriage, this resurfaced romance with Gosling is the last thing he wants people talking about. But unfortunately for him, Hollywood never forgets, and neither does the internet. With Reynolds' good guy reputation falling apart and Hollywood insiders whispering about his behind-the-scenes behavior, this resurfaced romance is the last thing he wants people talking about. But unfortunately for him, Hollywood never forgets, and neither does the internet.